You already lost something today. You just haven't admitted it yet. You lost your calm. You showed your hand. You reacted, and they watched. Every time your emotions spike, someone in the room files it away. A weakness, a lever, a door. They don't have to threaten you. They just have to wait for you to threaten yourself. The storm isn't coming. You're already standing in it. The question is whether you're still standing. Your reaction is the weapon they are using against you, and you keep handing it to them. You were taught to feel everything loudly. That was not wisdom. That was conditioning. Every outburst you've had, every argument, every breakdown, someone cataloged it. They didn't fear your anger. They studied it. And now they own the map to your interior. This video is not about anger management. It's about becoming the kind of man no one can read, no one can reach, no one can break. Let's be honest with you. You were not always like this. There was a time you trusted openly. You gave honestly. You expected the same in return. And then it happened. Over and over. Slowly enough that you didn't notice it was a pattern. You were dismissed, spoken over, taken for granted, used when convenient, invisible when not. And the world told you, if it hurts, say so. Express yourself. Be vulnerable, be open. That advice was not designed to liberate you. It was designed to keep you legible. Legible means readable, and readable means controllable. Every system around you, social, professional, romantic, and runs smoother when you are predictable. When you react, they know where you are. When you break, they know your price. This is not your fault, but it is now your responsibility. The men who built empires, survived betrayals, outlasted enemies. They understood something you were never told. Emotion is information, but emotion displayed is intelligence handed to your enemy. The storm inside you is not the problem. The problem is that everyone can see the storm. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago, and the men who learned it changed the course of history. Now it is your turn to learn what they learned. His name was Marcus Aurelius, emperor, soldier, the most powerful man alive in his era, and the most disciplined mind that era ever produced. He commanded armies, governed an empire, buried his children, survived betrayals, and no one ever saw him break. Not because he felt nothing, but because he had trained himself relentlessly, daily, to choose his response rather than be owned by it. He wrote to himself, privately, in a journal never meant for other eyes. What he wrote was a manual for surviving a world that would use any weakness it found. That journal survived 2,000 years. We call it Meditations, and it begins with a warning dressed as philosophy. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Read that again. He did not say ignore events. He did not say emotions are weakness. He said, power lives in what you choose to do with what you feel. The Stoics were not monks retreating from the world. They were generals, emperors, gladiators, men standing in fire, choosing not to burn. And now you're going to learn what they learned. 6 principles, starting right now. The untouchable interior. No one can reach what they cannot locate. You have been living with your interior completely exposed. Every preference stated, every fear worn on your face, every wound visible to anyone paying attention. Here's why they do it. People probe for reactions, not to understand you, but to locate your pressure points. A man with a readable interior is a man with a map painted on his chest. Everyone around him knows exactly which road leads to a reaction. Starting today, when something provokes you, pause. Not to suppress, to delay. Tell yourself, I will feel this fully in private and show nothing in public. This is not coldness. This is armor. The Stoics called it the Inner Citadel, the part of you no event, person, or circumstance can ever enter without your permission. They can assault the walls. They can scream at the gates, but if you've built the citadel, they never get in. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Drop this in the comments. My citadel is mine alone. Build it or be owned. Those are the only two options. Silence is not absence, it is presence. The loudest man in the room has already surrendered the room. You have been told that silence means you have nothing to say. In reality, silence means you have decided they are not worth your words yet. The psychology, people fill silence. They expand into it, reveal themselves in it, implicate themselves in it. Your silence is an interrogation room they walk into voluntarily. Starting today, in any tense exchange, say 30% less than you think you should. The pauses you hold are more intimidating than any words you could choose. Let them hear their own echoes. Let them mistake your stillness for depth they cannot measure, because that is exactly what it is. Separate what happens from what it means. The event is never the injury. Your interpretation is. Someone doesn't respond to you. Your mind says they're ignoring you. They don't respect you. You've been dismissed. None of that is what happened. What happened is they didn't respond. You have been suffering from things that only exist inside your own interpretation. The Stoics called this the gap between impression and assent. Starting today, when something stings, ask this one question before you react. What actually happened? Not what you felt, not what it might mean. What actually happened? Drop this in the comments. I am the destination, not the pursuit. The man who masters the gap between what happens and what he decides it means cannot be destabilized. He chooses his reality rather than inheriting everyone else's chaos. Control the face, own the room. Your expression is broadcasting a signal 24 hours a day. Are you sure you want to be transmitting? You've been in rooms where your expression cost you. Before you said a word, they already knew where you stood, and they positioned themselves accordingly. Marcus Aurelius trained his face the way a soldier trains his body, not to hide weakness, but to prevent the enemy from knowing where to strike. Starting today, practice neutral. Not blank, neutral. Interested but unreadable. Present but unattached. Let your face be a wall they cannot see over. Drop this in the comments. My silence speaks louder than your noise. The room you enter with a controlled face is already halfway yours. They will fill the silence you leave. They will reveal themselves to the composed man. Let it happen through you, not to you. Water does not fight the rock. It moves around it, under it, through the cracks, and outlasts it completely. You have been fighting things that do not deserve your energy. The traffic, the rudeness, the delay, the disrespect. You fight them all, and you arrive at the destination already defeated. The Stoics had a word for this. Amor fati, love of fate, not resignation. Active love of whatever comes, because resistance to what has cost you more than acceptance ever will. Starting today, when something goes wrong, say out loud if you must, this is what is happening. Not, this shouldn't be happening. Not, why is this happening to me? Just, this is what is happening. That three-word sentence will change how your nervous system responds to adversity. You are telling your brain, I am not a victim of this. I'm a witness to it. The man who lets storms pass through him, instead of to him, becomes the stillest object in any room, and still objects become the ones everyone else orients around. Invest in what cannot be taken. Every external thing can be stripped from you. Every internal thing you build is permanently yours. You have put your peace in the hands of other people's behavior. Your mood depends on what they say. Your confidence depends on what they think. Your value depends on what they decide. That is not living. That is outsourcing your existence. The Stoics invested in virtue, discipline, reason, not because it was fashionable, but because no army, no betrayal, no loss could ever remove those things from a man who had truly built them. Starting today, ask yourself every morning, what am I building inside myself today that no one can touch? That one question will redirect your entire day. Drop this in the comments. They cannot take what I have built inside. When your identity lives inside you, not in their approval, not in your status, not in what they say, you become fireproof. That is the promise of Stoic philosophy, not a life without storms. A life where storms cannot burn you because you have nothing flammable left for them to take. You are not trying to become cold. You are trying to become unmovable, which is entirely different. A cold man has walled off the world. An unmovable man has mastered his relationship to it. One is absence. The other is absolute presence. Everything you have learned in this video points to one truth. You have been living at the mercy of the weather. You have been allowing every provocation, every slight, every disappointment to enter you and reshape you from the inside. That ends here. The old you is dead. The man who winced at every word, who chased every approval, who showed his wounds like currency. That man does not walk out of this room. You are a weapon, pointed at your own future, not at their validation, not at their approval, not at the comfort of being understood by people who never tried to understand you. You belong to no one, not to the job that owns your mornings, not to the opinion that follows you home, not to the person who learned your weaknesses and turned them into a leash. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. He was surrounded by people trying to use him, manipulate him, break him. He refused, not violently, silently from the inside. That is what you are building. Not a performance of strength, not an act of indifference. The real thing. The storm will come again. It always does. But from now on, when it comes, you will not be bracing against it. You will be standing inside it, choosing your response, deciding what it means, giving nothing away. Drop this in the comments. The storm comes, I do not move. If this reached something in you, something you knew was there but hadn't heard said out loud, then you already know what you're building. This channel is not for everyone. It is not trying to be. It is for the man who decided at some point quietly, without announcement, that he was done being readable. Subscribe if you choose to, not because I'm asking, because you have decided this knowledge is worth keeping close. More is coming, more of what they never wanted you to find. More of the philosophy they kept off the curriculum. Before you go, one question for the comments. The kind that will sit with you. The kind that deserves an honest answer. What would the version of you who feels nothing in the storm actually do differently tomorrow?